Happy Friday, and welcome to another episode of Panther Report News. I'm Kelsey Perkins. You may have attended the GSU home opener against Kennesaw State and saw the Crown Jewels dancers, but were they able to see you is the question. The dancers were told to relocate during the game because the stands reached maximum capacity. Reporter Amani Patterson sits down with the founder of the dance team with a Panther Report exclusive interview.
Within the first quarter, at least 6 different officials from the athletics department came over, and they were giving us different reasons as to why we couldn't dance or why, we had to stop dancing. One of the excuses was that we were taking up too much room. Finally, around the second quarter, the police had came and told us that if we didn't move to the away side, they would have to escort us off the premises.
Almost 2 months have passed after the House Bill 673 went into effect. The law prohibits any action that may distract drivers from operating a vehicle. Reporter Wan Parker is live with more on this story.
Many of us use our phones everywhere we go and for everything we do. Listening to music while driving, texting, and navigating, to name a few. As of July 1st, 2018, drivers in Georgia must go hands-free. This means no texting, calling, or interacting with social media while behind the wheels of your vehicles.
I personally know a lot of people that have gotten hit by distracted drivers, so I just think it hits close to home for me.
Some students around campus are getting used to the new hands-free law. Some like it.
We get a lot of car accidents around the Atlanta area, and if this will actually decrease the amount of accidents due to distracted driving, I'm all for it.
As an independent agent, I do believe that the hands-free law does make a lot of sense. Every time you get on the highway, you see the signs that shows the amount of deaths that have occurred, and that's just on the highways of Georgia. You can imagine the amount of issues or claims that we have on the streets.
And others, well, not so much.
I need my navigation to get around. So it's kind of a challenge because I don't have the little hands-free thing yet. I was planning on getting it. But it is a challenge because it's hard to use your navigation.
I don't agree with it. I feel like we should be given the freedom to be able to use our phones, especially us older adults. We don't need, we're not teenagers. We know that if we text and drive, something horrible will happen.
According to a U.S. News report, 79% of students at Georgia State commute to campus. Officials at the University Career Services Office are here to help those students have safer travels with the pledge to drive hands-free.
I came up with the concept of designing out the marketing to do a campaign where if students sign the pledge, then we will give them a phone mount.
Since the law is still new, GSU police officers are giving warnings to allow students to become accustomed to hands-free driving.
If I had to give a stat, I would say in the past 2 months, probably a handful, if that. Only because, again, we're trying to use this time to educate them on the law, to give them kind of like a grace spirit and understanding it. And then, especially with the holidays coming up, I'm sure we're going to hit it hard.
Use a device like this or similar to avoid endangering yourself and others while driving on the roads. In Atlanta, I'm Wan Parker for Panther Report News.
How long does it take for you to get to class after taking the blue route? Yes, this is the question that I and many other students are asking after noticing a delay in their morning commute. Destiny Elliott has further details.
Georgia State commuters are complaining that the blue route shuttles are the reason they are late for class.
When the buses are late, usually that makes, the students pile up right here. So that means when a bus does come, not everybody can fit on that one bus.
To better cope with the Atlanta traffic, since we all know that it's going to happen, but we still need to arrive in class on time, is to have more routes.
Some students express their thoughts on Twitter about transportation.
So SGA just wants to go out there, reach out, and make sure that students know that we do care. We do hear their cries about transportation, and we are working on it, but in the meantime, we're going to get something back to you for the wait that you had to endure.
Students believe that Georgia State transportation should increase shuttles to prevent traffic and overcrowding. Well, gotta get to class. I'm Destiny Elliott for Panther Report News.
A student is introducing Georgia State's first all-black female journalism class alongside a professor who's breaking barriers. Kara Nelson has more on this historical moment.
Georgia State University's TV reporting course becomes the first all-African-American female journalism class at the school.
It was a very good experience. It was cool to see people that had similar experiences to you and that you knew were going to go into the media world with some of the same challenges and obstacles.
The class was created and taught by former ABC and CNN correspondent Linda Patillo. She says it was totally random that it ended up A, all women, and B, all African American. However, as a result, the young women in the class bonded and formed a support group and worked as a team.
I think I really learned like the good content of like a friend, honestly. I really did, because we had a lot of really supportive people. We really came together and helped one another out and gave people tips when we needed them.
This hands-on course brings TV careers to the classroom, allowing students to gain reporting skills not taught in your general journalism classes.
I learned a lot about the etiquette of doing a stand-up and how to make your stand-ups look more professional and make your packages that you put together look more complete.
Currently, the class is listed as a special topics course, but Ms. Patillo encourages all students to enroll, and she hopes to make it a permanent part of the university's curriculum. At Georgia State, I'm Kara Nelson for Panther Report.
The Courtland Bridge is coming down. Well, not quite. After months of reconstruction being done to the Courtland Street Bridge, reporter Cheri Pruitt is giving us the latest updates.
Set for completion in November, the Courtland Bridge has garnered opinions and concerns. An official says the additional sidewalks and LED lighting fixture aids will help pedestrians once the bridge is done.
Well, so we're increasing a lot of pedestrian facilities on the bridge, so you'll have better sidewalks, you'll have better lighting, so we're doing LED lighting both underneath and on top of the bridge, better sidewalks. You've got 3 10-foot lanes and 1 12-foot lane, and what that 12-foot lane accomplishes is a better lane for buses who need to stop and let students off. So there's a lot more pedestrian-friendly aspects to this bridge once we're complete with it.
This is the 4th week of classes, and students have had concerns about the bridge regarding their route to classrooms for some time. For GSU senior Takesha Bryant, this makes no sense to her.
I hate it. I think this is so stupid. They started construction in the middle. No, they started it kind of at the end of last year, and I feel like by now it should have been done. If they were working efficiently over the summer, it would have been finished, and it's not. If we can build 85 in like 4 months, we could have finished this by now.
Dell says they were able to cut the time due to the initiative before closing the bridge.
Well, what we did was before we even closed the bridge, we started to build the base of the bridge underneath the old structure so that the amount of time that we had the top deck of the bridge, what was actually usable in the bridge closed, was then just 6 months instead of 2 years.
Another student found no problems with the bridge construction.
I don't feel like it's much of a, obstacle for us, because I take that way to class all the time, and it's a pretty easy commute, besides it cutting off like classes and offices and them being relocated to other areas.
We will continue to give you updates on the bridge. In Atlanta, this is Cheri Pruitt for Panther Report.
Student Center West could see some changes in the future. And do you want to voice your opinion to the Student Government Association? Kevin Sanchez has our coverage of SGA's Atlanta campus meeting.
You can hear our very own fight song.
A potential student center expansion, transportation, and student engagement all place on the Student Government Association's Atlanta agenda when they convene this Thursday. Boyd Beckwith followed by introducing the Student Center's feasibility study to expand the facility in Atlanta. He says the goal is to complete the study by the spring semester for the Board of Regents to review.
This is really just to find out, can we afford to do it? The important thing to take away from this is we are not planning to raise fees to make this happen. Our goal is to make this happen with existing reserves, which is why you have reserves from a variety of pots to make this happen.
Beckwith says the vision is to offer event spaces, a gaming center, a wellness center, a new SGA chamber, but most importantly, that it does not come at the expense of a student's pocket.
So unfortunately, probably it's not going to happen while you're still here, unless you're a freshman and considering a doctoral program. But it would still be a cool place to come back to.
After its introduction, Senator Spencer Bivens asks if the expansion is an effective use of funding.
A student center would be nice, but it's not about what's nice. It's about what's more efficient for the students at this university.
Speaker of the Senate Fautomata Berry moved to seat freshmen and transfer liaisons. After a brief introduction, liaisons were approved and sworn in. With the deadline approaching, Senator Bivens reminds senators of their university-wide survey.
If we don't have the students speak, the university will make decisions without them.
Senator Jessica Seamer talks about next week's Campus Safety Week.
So the biggest thing is just to kind of promote different events on campus to help students become more aware of, one, the resources on campus, but also provide different training. So like whether it be active shooter training or some self-defense classes.
In the advisor report, Gail Sutton reported the shortage of Scantrons available at the SGA office, looking toward senators for suggestions. Executive Vice President Aisha Iqbal concluded the meeting with a report on community outreach events and transportation.
I think that we should go out and kind of talk to them while they're waiting and give them water bottles or something, just to let them know that we're doing something for them.
SGA asks students to complete a university-wide survey ahead of their September 17th deadline. Visit sga.gsu.edu to access the survey under the Services tab. From Student Center West, I'm Kevin Sanchez for Panther Report News.
Thank you for watching another episode of Panther Report. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GSUPRN. Also, subscribe down below and let us know what you think. I'm Kelsey Perkins, and see you guys next week.